Good evening and welcome to the show. My name is Paul K. Mwaura. I'm hoping you've had a lovely week so far. Please remember to share with us from the very many guests that we brought for you, who amongst them was your favorite. You never know, you might just see them on the show again. On tonight's show, we have an amazing guest. Why don't you join me and see what I'm talking about?
My name is Sam Gishuru. I'm the CEO and founder of Nailab. Nailab is an incubation space that helps young entrepreneurs. Today, we have a special guest, Paul.
Thank you for having me here at Nailab, Sam. I appreciate it.
Welcome to Nailab.
I read somewhere in your profile that you got to fail so many times before, getting up, and standing strong on your feet. Tell us a little bit of that.
And I never started business straight away. Immediately I finished high school, also I couldn't go to university. So the first thing I did was get a job with the sewage tanks in Ungatarungai. Hauling sewage in Ungatarungai was practically my job. Sometimes as a conductor, sometimes as a driver. So yes, I'm an experienced tractor driver with a tanker. So I have a lot of multiple skills. The thing with that was it helped me see how the rich lived, how the successful people lived, and the fact that we had to go to Karen and do sewage exhaust and things like that. Of course, the vision it created in my head was the fact that when I start business later in life, it would be very easy. It wasn't. It was an extremely difficult journey. Just to get into my first business, but my first business was a tech business. And it shut down immediately. I went for my honeymoon. Of course, I got employed first as well. So all my business training came from my first job. But my first job was a salesperson in a company called Insight Technologies, which I did for about a year and a half. Of course, in between there, I had 2 promotions. After that, I left Insight and I went to 190 Online. Again, selling dial-ups and lease lines. So if there was any business training for me, it happened in between those 2 companies. So when the first business failed completely, I shut down the office, went back to my home, to the apartment I was staying in. I was already married, I had a family now, and I had to figure out a way of feeding them. And within my apartment, I managed to get a connection, and I started selling web hosting services. A small company was called Ideas Africa. What we did with Ideas Africa then was help Paul get paul.com as a domain name and get emails at paul.com.
And what brought you to start Nailab?
I moved this business out of my apartment back to the city. I got a small, paid my licenses, started paying for my taxes, employed people, and we started growing, but it was struggling a lot. Most of my customers could not afford the follow-up service, which was having a website design, having an online presence. And so there was a bit of a struggle there. Business wasn't doing very well. And I came and I bumped into a friend of mine. His name is Tony Ndongo. And Tony had started Nailab about 6 months before I met him. And he was struggling as well with the space and the business side of things. So we partnered together, and I brought the business mind, he brought in the social aspect of the business and the strategies and the vision. And this is where Nailab was born. We did not have money to run this space. It's quite an expensive space at that point. And so we were running around doing small jobs of designing websites for people, consulting for organizations, and delivering certain products and services. We needed to raise money, because our vision was to help young entrepreneurs like myself not to have to spend almost 8 years of their lives struggling on how to build a business, but instead cut it short to less than a year. Me and Tony traveled to Europe. I remember that day because it was Queen's Day in Holland, and it was my first trip to the Netherlands, and we were very hungry. And we had to walk a very long distance. For some reason, there were no direct connections to where we were going, so we walked a bit of a distance. And we were hungry, we had to stop somewhere to eat a burger. And then we got to the minute, we were just usual Kenyans, 5-10 minutes late, and we thought we had lost the deal. But then Tony was able to make a very good, strong case, and from there we were funded to the tune of about 30 million Kenya shillings by this Dutch organization. They bought our vision. And so we came back and we started operations.
And what's your day like, as a CEO?
My day involves coming here, having probably a brief meeting with my team very early, talk about what everybody's doing, my team members, direct team members. Then I walk around the space. Whichever startup is in the space, we sit down, we talk about what they're doing, we talk about their marketing, their branding, the product, how far they have gone, what stage they're in, what challenges. Then I sit back and I compile my notes, and I just do my research on how to help them better.
Any business faces challenges. What are some of the challenges that you faced, and have you done anything to solve them?
The challenge we faced is early stage funding. Now, how we've solved that one way, we've still gone back to Kenyans and talked to Kenyans who have got, who are high net worth individuals. But at the same time, we've talked to organizations that we could work with. And in June, July, we are going to launch our own fund. Okay, and I think we will be able to pass this information in good time. We'll launch our own fund, probably slightly above 100 million Kenya shillings, where anybody with a good idea will be able to apply to it. And if we like what they're doing and how they're doing it, and they're willing to work with us on a long term, we'll be able to put at least 2.5 million shillings on that idea to make sure that that idea changes the country and how we do business. Another problem we faced at that point was people were very skeptical. Oh, my idea is going to get stolen. Oh, I'm going to go here and I'll tell them this, and this is going to, not work for me. People are very skeptical about talking to us about their ideas. But one of the things we've taught people and people have realized is that an idea is worth nothing. Your idea is valueless. Unless it's extremely well executed, it's worth zero.
And how do you get to benefit, when you have young entrepreneurs coming into Nailab and being incubated and going out there to start up their businesses? How do you benefit from that?
We are an investor. Ourselves, we're an investor. So you can imagine, if you look at the space, it's a big space. It has running costs. We have high-speed internet access. We have a staff of about 7, 8 working here. We have to, of course, cater for our cost. That's very good that we have a contract from the government. It's also good that we have contracts from corporates, people who are coming to us and they're saying we want to work with innovators, and we're charging them an extra price to help them design a strategic plan for them to execute with innovators. What we do with a startup, when you come over here, we take a percentage of the equity in that company. So if Paul wants to start a startup, we will take 10%. And for that 10%, you will stay with us here for 3 to 6 months. We'll pay for your rent, we'll give you internet access, we will have coaches and mentors here working with you every day on your idea. We want to make sure that you sell your company for as much money as possible, and we get 10% of that. Of course, chances are we will get 1% of that are very high because of other investors coming in and ourselves getting diluted. But for the ease of simple math, it is to say, sell your company for 250 million, we will make 25 million if we have 10% at that point of sale.
The kind of work that you do here at Nailab, incubating young startups, what fulfillment do you get from this?
Fulfilling point of what I've been doing the last couple of years is when I receive reports from startups. When somebody sends me a report and says, hey Sam, we've now hit 100,000 users on our platform, we are now profitable, we are selling our products at 20 shillings and we have 100,000 people buying every month, so we are making 2 million shillings a month. That is brilliant for me. They are making money, they are serving people, they are serving the community, they are providing some needed product or service to the community. Those are they send me a report and say, we've hired 5 more people, now we are a team of 20. I'm extremely satisfied when I hear that. When I know 5 more young people don't have to be on the streets of Nairobi, or they don't have to be tarmacking all over, or they don't have to be worrying where their next meal comes from. I
saw on the media the other day that the president was here, Maybe you can brief us on that.
I think first of all, I have to say we're very, very happy because of the surprise visit by His Excellency the President, Uhuru Kenyatta, the other day. I think it gave us a lot of motivation in the fact that government finally recognized the role we are playing in building the nation and creating jobs and making this an innovative hub in Africa.
That was good, for the president coming here to recognize on the work that you're doing. It means you're doing something for the nation of Kenya and the young people. What are some of these future plans that you have, and how are you planning to execute them?
Immediate future goals is to work strongly with government and especially Enterprise Kenya. Enterprise Kenya is going to be shaped after similar projects across the world, like Enterprise Estonia, like Enterprise Ireland, like Enterprise Israel, and others. And what you're going to do is to make sure that when a product is built in the Nailab, that product can be acquired to be used in government. Whether it's a health product, education product, security product, anything to do with defense, agriculture, that government can use the products we are designing.
What can you tell that young person sitting at home and is thinking about entrepreneurship?
First of all, you really need to be a doer, not a talker. Talking is good, it makes you popular for a very short period of time, but you're still where you are. Doing is better. It moves you from where you are to where you need to be. Number 2, I want to say failure is good. Fail. Those people who fail have tried. If you have not failed, you have never tried. Number 3, find a mentor. Okay? Now, when you want to find a mentor, don't go asking somebody, can you mentor me? That's not how mentorship works. This is not, mentorship works where I come to Paul and say, hey Paul, I have a problem here. Do you know what I could do with it? Problem by problem basis.
We've come to the end of our part 1 tonight of The Entrepreneur, and I'm hoping you loved the guest that we brought you tonight. That was an amazing story. We are taking a short commercial break, but when we return, we have another guest for you, so please do not go away. Keep it here.